Hello guys, welcome back to the Fun with Dan podcast. I hope you guys are having a lovely day per the usual. I wanted to kind of touch on a topic that has been really important to me, being on the autism spectrum and everything, and that would be dating and relationships. Now, it's really fucking impossible for anybody, okay? It is really impossible for anybody. I don't know how you guys out there, those of you in a relationship, count your blessings. Just count your blessings. You guys have done the absolute unthinkable. Whether you want to realize it or not, whether you're in a happy relationship or you're not, it's kind of still either way. Like I said, you've done the unthinkable. I'm going to walk you through my relationships. There will be some visual audio representations and stuff. I do have the audio recordings from 3 different 911 calls that I am going to show. So this episode is not really meant to be fun, okay? It's more like, okay, let me get this off my chest. This is kind of like therapeutic for me. I refer to it as Fun with Daniel podcast or Fun with Dan podcast because that's what the channel's called. But it really just depends on all this stuff. One of my friends kind of knows part of the story, but he doesn't know the whole thing. I'm going to I'm trying to see if I still have... Like I said, like I said in the first episode, this is going to be very ranty. I'm only going to edit when it's not to, bore the shit out of you. I have videos to find, I have audio to find, and, so I'm only going to edit things when it's just not to bore the shit out of you at all. But I have, there's a couple video references that I need to find. I need to go in and find those. If my computer would not be such a dingus, I'd be able to find these a lot easier. But yeah, to be honest, I'm not prepared at all for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and... What do you mean it's not available anymore? I'm gonna get into some of the lists, or not some of the lists. I'm sorry, my brain's just fried. Now I'm going off on one of those rambles that I was telling you about. I'm going to go through and find... I have that call already. That call's redacted. I have the PDF file. I don't have the video of me talking to the cop, I don't believe. But I am going to provide the audio for those, and I'm just kind of talking, just rambling. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get into it. I guess the 911 calls, that was all over one relationship, and there's been multiple. So I'll go ahead and I'll just put it on the back burner for now, and then we can just, turn the burner back on when we're ready to use it. That was a horrible analogy, but I'll turn the burner on when we're ready to actually use it. So when we need to reference the example, then we can start talking about it, but until then, we don't need to worry about it. So, the first relationship that I found myself in would have been a situation. I was in a online dating scam on Tinder, and things just did not go well at all. This was back in 2021, 2022, back when I had moved in with another family member, but I wasn't like out on my own yet, but I moved out of my parents' house into another relative. So it was kind of like that concept of, I'm kind of just living by myself now and everything else going on. But anyway, she essentially tried to scam me out of money by thinking that she was a minor and I'd be in trouble with the law. So that's not the best situation at all to be in. That was like, all right, you know what? I'm absolutely done with those. And then I didn't realize until 6 months later that it was a scam, because then I started watching the scam baiting YouTube videos. Like, I've seen some of those channels. But yeah, I've gone through and I've watched those videos. And then I saw a reference. It was like, it was detailing the exact same thing that happened to me. And I was like, yep, that is a scam, which I did not know. Which I didn't know at all. I mean, I'm kind of an impulsive person, but I have the tendency to understand when something's not right. Also, let's see. But yeah, that was the first one. That was when I realized I'm done with dating sites. I'm done with all this shit. Actually, give me 1 second. In addition to talking about the dating and relationships, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna look up. Questions and stuff to kind of use as filler time. Like I said, I literally just hit record and started talking. Oh my god, it's already been 7.5 minutes. Okay, so here's controversial questions and everything. Let's go through all three, and then we'll move on to these kind of towards the end. We'll do this. So I said my second relationship was a girl that I met at my place of work. This was actually last year. I'm filming this November 21st, 2024. So this was, maybe a year and... Oh, wait, no, it was right. It was right after I started there. It would have been September of 23, or maybe October of 23. We've had so much happen in the September and October of that month. But, everything's fine, yeah, we're, just, I don't know. Anyway, so I ended up, for about a week, I ended up giving her a ride home from work after we closed at 1 or 2 in the morning. And we would end up hanging out, obviously. Went to Taco Bell quite a bit. I don't know why or how or what, but that's what I did. So anyway, she got into a situation with her sister and ended up, she ended up getting into a situation with her sister and everything. Apparently they got into a physical argument and all this other stuff. And she ended up leaving. It was an apartment complex. She ended up having me pick her up and bring her to a gas station nearby. And then I went back to the apartment because I needed to pick up her brother and her 3 children, to then go back to the gas station, reunite with her, and then we're all going to her grandma's house. Sorry, my phone's going off. But what ended up happening, I ended up talking to the cop and everything, and she was like, all right, well, she's a suspect to an assault. She is this person. She fled the scene. I need to talk to her. I need her side of the story. Otherwise, what's going to happen is she's going to be fleeing a crime scene, and then she's going to have a warrant out for her arrest. So I'm talking about that. And then she was like, you don't have anything here, or and she's like, I would go ahead and, or the cop was talking to me, really right outside the front porch there. And she was like, well, I don't have any, like, I asked her, like, she's like, you can have her reach out to us to talk and kind of tell her side of the story and everything. So I said, I'm like, all right, do you have like a business card by chance? Or do you have like a number that I can write down? And she told me, just call the 911 line and ask to talk to me. Officer XYZ was her name. Okay, I'm going to call her Officer XYZ. Just call the 911 line and ask to talk to Officer XYZ. So I'm like, all right. So her brother and 3 kids came out. I ended up taking them over to the gas station where she was. I got out of the car, called 911, and she was not happy. So let me play you the audio from that call. There's a lot of redacting in there also. Yeah, let me play you the audio from that call. So here is that.
Ingham County 911, what's the location of your emergency?
Yes, can I get to 6825 South Cedar? Stop. It's the Speedway on South Cedar, 6825 South Cedar.
Okay, what's your name? Are you an employee there?
No, I'm not.
Okay. What's your phone number? Okay, tell me exactly what's happening.
All right, so just responded to a assault call for between over at the Autumn Ridge apartment, and she said that she needs a statement. Stop. So she said you can like reach out to her, or she said just call 911 and ask to talk to her. So
did you want to speak with her, or did you want her to, like, do you just want a phone call?
Yeah, I guess, because she said that she needs a statement from her, so I guess...
Needs a statement from who?
A statement from... She's the person from the sex assault, or not sex assault, but from the assault.
Okay.
What are you doing?
She was the victim?
Yes. Well, apparently there was an assault between the two of them, but she said that she needs her side of the story.
Okay.
Can you guys quit fucking walking, please?
Get away from us! Now! Get away from us! I don't give a fuck! Get away from us!
What's the problem?
Get away from us! Why are you harassing us now? Leave us alone!
I'm not harassing you at all. You don't have to get the fucking police here, and you can fucking deal with that.
I don't give a fuck!
Ma'am, send her, please.
Yeah, I'll have him just show up right there.
Leave us the fuck alone! Get away from here!
You're beating the fuck away from me? You're gonna beat the fuck out of me?
Get your ass over. Get away from us! Stop harassing us! Get away from us!
Get the fuck out of here!
Get the fuck out of here!
What you want to do?
Don't you dare go to my sister like that. Get away from me!
You guys didn't hear it, did you? Get away from him before we both go to jail. Meaning, she's in the wrong. And she knew that. But she's in the wrong trying to tell me what I shouldn't be doing. But, yeah, get away from him before we both go to jail. Now, you're probably going to wonder, you probably heard it in there, I kind of skipped over some of the stuff. But you probably heard a lot of redacting, especially when the guy was talking, her brother. And you're probably wondering, why did I censor the word bitch? Or why did I censor the word that he said, but I did not censor bitch? That's not to protect him, that's to protect me. You know what I'm actually going to do? For all three of these, I'm going to have to go through and redact them down a little bit more. But I am going to release all three of the 911 calls in their entirety. All three of them. Like I said, I'm going to have to redact them down some more. But, so this way, you guys can hear the full story and hear everything else that goes on. Like I said, I'm going to have to censor a lot of profanity, especially I am going to be censoring all of the profanity in that. I'm going to try to figure out how to alter their voices if I can. But yeah, we just need something like that. So yeah, there's that at least. So the next call I want to bring your attention to is in March of this year. That is the call where I officially broke up with her. I'm like, I'm done. We were going to, we're at the bus station in the downtown area, and I said, she said, well, we ended up going to, she was trying to meet up with her ex, who was the kid's dad, so that way he could end up taking him. And then I ended up taking her back to her grandma's house. Her grandma's kind of a saving grace in this, to be perfectly honest with you. But anyway, and then there's, up on the next corner, there's a liquor store there. I went over there and parked because she said that she wanted something to smoke. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm not buying it for you. You've been smoking and drinking too much for the last couple days, and whenever you smoke and drink, we get into an argument all the time, which ended up starting an argument. So I got out. I'm kind of standing on the sidewalk, and she's drunk as hell, and she tries to get these, I don't know how to kindly say this. She tries to get these black bitches to essentially jump me. This is downtown Lansing. It was like 10:30 at night. Just bullshit, okay? So I ended up calling. I don't know, she was trying to get out of the car and everything. They opened the door. This is what I did wrong. I went to close the door, and she put her foot out on the door, and the hinge bent right there. So I was like, all right, you're not listening to me. You are now refusing to get out of my car. I'm now going to call the police. So I ended up doing that. I even told the operator she has a warrant, and I'm turning her in. I want her in the back of your car by the end of the night. Let me play the audio from that before we continue.
What is the emergency there?
So my girlfriend is apparently drunk out of her mind and everything. I'm wanting her to get the fuck out of my car, and she's not. And she's fucking laughing at me and swearing at me and all this other stuff.
What's her name?
Her name?
Yes.
And she has a warrant for her arrest.
Does she have any weapons?
No, she doesn't.
Okay. All right. Sit tight. We'll get someone out there, okay? Anything changes, call us back. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Be right there. Bye-bye.
Do you see what I mean? So I was captured up, and here's the thing. She took off running. Her fucking fat ass couldn't run. She left. She went and hid. There's like some other, it's like a downtown area, so there's like other buildings and alleys and stuff, and it's dark. It's like 11 o'clock at night by this point. And I ended up leaving. I was on the phone with my friend, and she was like, you know what, you can come over here for a while. I'm home alone. You can come over here for a while and just kind of chill, debrief. So I'm like, all right, cool. But before I do that, I'm going to make the stupid decision to drive around downtown Lansing and try to find her. And then try to call 911 again if I find her so I can turn her in. This is where she is. Ironically enough, the same cop that I talked to ended up pulling me over. He was like, why are you driving around downtown Lansing? I'm like, I'm trying to find her. He's like, why? I'm like, because she has a warrant and I want her in jail. I want her turned in. Like, why else? He's like, all right. The reason he stopped me is because I ended up running a 4-way stop. There was one of the blinking reds in downtown. It was a 4-way stop that I ended up running. So I ended up leaving everything. I ended up going to get on the highway and everything. He took my insurance, he took my registration, my license, and all that stuff. Went back to his car. And then ended up, he came back up to me, gave me my stuff. He's like, I'm not going to write you a ticket or anything. Here's your license and registration. I'm not going to write you a ticket or anything like that. Just go home, right? Leave her alone. Yeah. Enough is enough. We'll find her. We will arrest her. Let us do our job, okay? Just leave her alone. You guys clearly just need to be separated for right now. And you driving around trying to find her is not a good way to resolve this. And I was like, oh, son of a bitch. So then she ended up leaving and all stuff, and I went over to my friend's house, and then that's basically where the night ended. All of these calls are stupid, I know. The third and final call that I'm going to provide for you is another call where it was not even a month later. So my ex's sister and I were going to go meet up with my ex to end up, because we had her kid, so that way she can take her kid back, because we're trying to meet up with her. And she hasn't been at the shelter that she was staying at, so it's like, alright, where else would she be? So I pull up to the bus station. It's parallel parking. And I get out. Her and I both get out. Kid's still in the back seat. Lock the door. Okay? Make sure door was locked. Then he's locked in. I go inside to use the restroom. And I come out here. I'm in there for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. I go out. And the first thing she says to me is, call the police. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, wait, alright. So apparently she got punched in the face by somebody, and let me play that call for you.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
I'm at the Cata Bus Center, Grand and Lunawee in downtown Lansing.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
Just a domestic issue going on. They're just arguing, screaming at each other. It was some form of altercation.
How many people involved?
I don't know, maybe 7 or 8.
Okay, and they're physically fighting or just yelling? All right, what's your name?
First
Last name? Thank you. Your phone number? Our officers are pulling up right now, so it shouldn't be too long, okay? Just flag them down when you see them, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Yep, bye.
That's what I mean. It's kind of a sad thing. To end things off, I found this article for like questions about relationships and everything. What's the best relationship advice someone has ever given you? That would be don't rush. Okay? Just don't rush at all. How do you deal with a partner who has trust issues? Clearly not the way that my ex did. Not the fucking way that my ex did. What are the most common problems couples face in relationships and how can they work through them? It's communication. It's all this other bullshit. Sadly, I think that's all that I have for today. I wasn't really expecting this to be such a long podcast. Most of it was just me rambling. But I'm going to go ahead and call it off here. You can go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my podcast with some other episode ideas that you would like to see or some other topics. You can go subscribe to my Team Frosted Flakes channel. I'll put the link down in the description as well. And, this was a hard episode to do, to be honest. This was a really hard episode to do. So, I will leave you guys with that. I'm gonna go ahead and start working on this. I gotta see if I can get this up tonight. Hopefully I can get it up tonight. But I will see you guys in the next episode of the Fun with Dan podcast. Cheers.